Life dramatically changed. She had a pretty severe stroke, brainstem stroke, and maybe within the first 3 days of her stroke, the neurosurgeon was telling me that this severity of a stroke, maybe only 5% live at the most. So she beat all odds and survived. So she's very courageous that way. Maybe within the first 2 or 3 days, she was able to blink, so a form of communication, but just barely, but enough to say, I want to live, and so she chose to live. It took her about 7 months to finally wean her off of a ventilator, and maybe during that first 7 months, that's when speech pathology came into play, to try to set up a form of communications. But if it weren't for her friends, who are also speech pathologists, Lorna and Joyce, we wouldn't have gotten the services that we would have gotten. The speech pathology services at the hospital were fair at best. But her friends, my wife's friends, they were everything to us. They're the ones that introduced us to the possibilities of the Tobii, so we're just so grateful to them. And Tobii itself, because that's been everything to my wife. If you can't move, that's how you communicate in life, by moving around. And not only she could move, she couldn't let her wishes be known. And the Tobii device allowed her to communicate with the world, with me, with her family, with everybody. So it brought back, basically, life back to her. It just was everything. This is what I can say about Tobii. There are a lot of speech devices that are out there in the community. And as we went through this speech process of trying to decide what was out there in the world for my wife to enhance her communications, they introduced us to a couple, 2 or 3 different communication devices. And I can truly say, hands down, that the Tobii was far superior. And I'm not trying to brag about it, but to me, it's like the Mercedes-Benz of these types of devices. It was very easy to use. My wife was excited about it. It was very dependable, easy to calibrate and to set up, so it meant a lot to us. It took my wife about 15 months to come home. You know, we anticipated that she was going to be maybe at the hospital for a month, but it took us 15 months to finally get home. Time has passed by pretty quickly because now she's been home for almost 3 years. And the Tobii Corporation has stayed with us the whole time. So that's pretty nice. On Saturdays and Sundays, it's almost one of the first things that I do after kind of doing the basic, providing for her basic needs. I set up the Tobii device immediately, and it allows her to do whatever she wants, basically. She usually probably either can listen to music. We have it set up for audio books. Primarily, I would say the vast majority of the time she goes on the internet. But I would say that the internet, communication with her family.
Tobii allows me to agree or disagree. That lets me participate in my care. Lets me say no, with reasons. My friends like getting email from me. The Tobii has internet, which I am hooked on. I love the internet. It kind of allows me more independence.